this young lady. She works with youth in Toronto. So came up, gave her my card, or just chatting with her. And I said, I'd love to do some financial literacy for your group of youth. And she said, actually, you know what? No, we already have so many financial speakers. We need a motivational speaker.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So for me, in my head, I was thinking about a friend of mine, but what came out of my mouth is, I'll do it. To be honest, I don't know how it came out, because I was thinking about me, because again, I wanted to be a motivational speaker, but I didn't have any knowledge or experience, and I didn't have any material. But what came out of my mouth was, I'll do it. So she's like, we exchanged, information. She's like, call me, sometime in the week and we'll set up a time.
Yeah.
So I'm driving home and I'm excited and do my little happy dance. Halfway home, I realize, there's a problem here. I don't have an experience. I don't have any experience at all.
Hello, everyone. Welcome again to another episode of Meta Transitions. Today, we have with us Karen Bell, who's the owner of True Potential. It is a self-empowering organization that helps individuals to understand who they are and what they bring to the world's table. Welcome to our show, Karen.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Sure thing. All right, Karen, is there anything else you wanted to share with our audience about True Potential?
Yes, actually, this company came out of a difficult time that I had experienced. Now, I did a trade show, seems like a long time ago, 2008, during the credit crisis. So I went through that crisis. So I did a trade show called the Home Buyers and Sellers Expo. And long and short of it is, I lost $126,000. And while they were bailing out, all these large corporations, they weren't bailing out the small business owner. So it's through that experience where I'm going to say a couple years later, True Potential was birthed. And it was really birthed out of, and it wasn't even, I didn't even try to birth it. Let me explain that. Now, when I was in grade 10, so like it's almost like I know exactly kind of what I decided I wanted to be a motivational speaker. And at the time it was Tony Robbins and Oprah Winfrey, around that time frame when I realized I wanted to be, but I'm like, I wanted to speak from my own experience. I didn't want to read a Tony Robbins book and kind of use his information as a platform. And while I appreciated Oprah, I didn't want you to use somebody else's identity to do my own. And so I kind of put it on the shelf and said, we'll wait till life happens. So fast forward 2008, the credit crisis, and I do a trade show. I lose $126,000, and it's through that where the process started to happen. And it really was birthed out of, when life happens, what do you do? And I know during, again, the time period when I spoke about in terms of like in grade 10, I don't know if you remember a commercial that I've fallen and I can't get up. I don't know if you remember those, those commercials. Anyhow, when life happens, sometimes people fall. And they either, one, they don't ever get back up. They live half of who they were, or they get up a little bit. Do you know what I mean? And so they kind of sit there flat. And it was just through that experience where things just started to kind of take shape. And it was, I'm going to say, an accident how I got into this organization. When I said got into it, was that at the time, again, 2008, so 2009, the federal government wanted to teach the Canadian and us Canadians about financial literacy. So I said, okay, I was doing mortgages. So when I did the trade shows, because I was a mortgage agent, I was leaving the industry, but I had so many contacts. And the worst thing as a salesperson is to walk away and burn contacts, burn, good leads. So that's one of the reasons I decided to do the trade show. So anyhow, from my mortgage experience, I thought, well, I can use that as a platform in terms of teaching the financial literacy, because the government of Canada, they wrote material, they just needed facilitators to run the programs, to run it. So I thought, okay, fabulous, perfect. So it was, I think it was 2011, February 29th, 28th, sorry, 2011, February 28th, I was at a networking event, a Black History Month networking event. So I had these business cards that I had printed up from home, and the name of the organization I was going to call it was FinCierge, Financial Concierge, right?
Okay.
And the
Yes.
whole idea would do, so I'm walking around and doing some networking. So I was walking around, and this young lady, she works with youth in Toronto. So came up, gave her my card, or just chatting with her, and I said, I'd love to do some financial literacy for your group of youth. And she said, actually, you know what? No, we already have so many financial speakers. We need a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
So for me, in my head, I was thinking about a friend of mine, because over the weekend, I think the previous weekend, I was at an event, a house event, where she's an insurance agent. So she was doing a talk, a motivational talk
Yeah.
around insurance. So I was thinking about her, that, you know what, it was motivational. Although it was insurance, it was very motivational. So I was thinking about that, let me, I can connect them, both of them, because I'm a connector in terms of how I operate. I like to connect people. So I'm thinking about her, but what came out of my mouth is, I'll do it. To be honest, I don't know how it came out, because I was thinking about me, because again, I wanted to be a motivational speaker, but I didn't have any knowledge or experience,
Yeah.
and I didn't have any material. But what came out of my mouth was, I'll do it. So she's like, we exchanged, information. She's like, call me, sometime in the week, and we'll set up a time.
Yeah.
So I'm driving home, and I'm excited and do my little happy dance. Halfway home, I realize, yeah, there's a problem here. I don't
Yes.
have an experience. I don't have
I
any
know.
experience at all. So of course, the other half of the way home, I'm now nervous, because this is not cool. And if you're doing anything for the youth, I don't know if you've ever worked with youth. I love working with youth. However, they have no filter. You know how as an adult, we can, even if we don't like somebody in terms of a speaker, you just kind of, you know what I mean? You're respectful. Kids,
Yeah.
they're not so, they don't have filter. And there's an innocence and a beauty about the youth, where they don't have a filter. And so if they get you, you're in great hands.
Yeah.
So if they get you and they like you, in great hands. But if they don't get you and they don't like you, they can make it really rough for you.
I know. They put you in the reject pile. Yes. They
Exactly.
can do that.
And they have no problems with doing that at all, at all. And so anyhow, so this was, I believe it was a Sunday. So then I think I called her like a Tuesday or Wednesday, because she was at the event. So she had said, call me, call her later on in the week.
Yes.
So I called, we made plans for me to come and, speak to her youth. So again, I'm all excited, but I'm like, what am I going to talk about?
Yes.
So, I start pulling things together. I'm like, I love to talk, but all of a sudden, when you're standing up in front of an audience, an audience of, youth, what do you talk about, and how do you, so anyhow, I pulled some things together.
Yeah.
And the beauty of it was that we did a roundtable discussion. And what I was told after it all finished, she's like, the youth said that was the best workshop they had ever done.
Wow, look at
Yeah,
that.
and it was through that experience, in terms of the conversation, and that's what True Potential is built on now. So, and then okay, so I've done a number of I had been doing a number of workshops now, and what I loved is that I was doing a lot with the youth, and so what the youth would say to me, "Ma'am," those words, "ma'am," right?
Yes. Yes.
"Ma'am, it's really good, but you know what? It could be a little boring. You should add some videos." And
Okay.
so
They're giving good
they're
constructive
good at
feedback.
exactly, and because one, it was just a phenomenal, honestly, because I add videos, and so it's evolved through with the youth, but also whenever I do a workshop, I always get feedback to, just how do you adjust and make it better, kind of thing. And it's because of the youth that recommended the videos. And then because my first experience with the whole the roundtable discussion. So now True Potential Workshops
Yeah.
is where it's a conversation, I call it. Now, how it has evolved, it's around food. So a couple things. There's something beautiful that happens when you're eating, you're drinking.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, you're hanging out with some friends, or, over drink and over food, and something about the walls come down, the barriers come down, and people are more open. So it comes with food. We watch videos, and it's like a boardroom setting. So maximum amount of people is it's 15. And the reason being is because, greater than that, people can hide. And as a facilitator, you want to pull things out of people in terms of getting them to share. And
Mhm.
then and I put my book away because I've actually start workshops tomorrow,
Mhm.
but they work through worksheets. So it's
Yeah.
not somebody standing up and saying, you need to be motivated, whatever. It is,
Mhm.
I have about just under 40 worksheets
Mhm.
where that I had put together, and it has people self-reflecting,
Mhm.
looking within, who am I, what am I about? And
Mhm.
then, so guess what? That's why I said it helps you understand what you bring to the world's table.
Mhm.
Because once you know, no one can tell you otherwise.
Yeah.
Once you know, if I come to, say, example, let's say I come to your organization
Mhm.
or you invite me and I come and I realize, yeah, no, and and it's not me feeling uncomfortable. It's like, that's not, what, this is not for me. You can
Mhm.
get up comfortably and
Yeah.
walk away.
Mhm.
And I'll
Mhm.
give you actually an example. What I'm speaking about is that I can't say any names. I can't say, in terms of
Oh.
organization, but I'm a for-profit, but I work, actually, the way True Potential works is material is the same, but it's a different audience.
Okay. Yeah.
So I can work with a CEO, I can work with a janitor. The material doesn't change.
Mhm.
The conversation changes. So it all
Mhm.
depends on the audience.
Sure.
So we went out and got to get funding with an organization because as a for-profit, I can't go out and get funding. And while I can work with any audience, my heart is for the less fortunate. So
Sure.
those that are disadvantaged.
Mhm.
So there's a group in Oshawa that I'm starting to work with tomorrow, and so, we go in and we get funding. And so one of the organizations that we had collaborated with had decided to, it looks as if they're trying to maneuver and take the program.
Mhm.
And so I had said, if I walk away, what happens? They're like, well, we can still run it because they have the funds, or no, sorry, they can either give the funds back to the organization
Mhm.
or they can go ahead and run it themselves. And I
Mhm.
thought, I'm not liking this because the way they had set up to get the funding, they don't even
Mhm.
include my organization.
Right.
So I had to go to the top. So
Mhm.
the organizations that's funding, I had to go to them and wrote an email, and that's being handled now.
Mhm.
So when I say you know what you bring to the world's table,
Mhm.
there's a confidence that you have.
Yeah.
There's a confidence that I have in myself.
Mhm.
There's a confidence I have in my program.
Yeah.
So then, if it's not fitting, I can easily walk away
Mhm.
and without feeling, because there's sometimes people feel stuck. So in even one of the meetings, I had said to the guy, I don't like my back against the wall. And
Mhm.
I don't think he understood what I meant. And really for me, it's what I mean in terms of that is, if it's not a good fit, I have no problems with walking away. And
Mhm.
that's what the program is about, where individuals that we all, once you really know who you are and what you bring to the world's table,
Mhm.
you make the decisions and the choices of where you should be.
I get that. That makes sense.
And so I sent that email, and then a friend of mine was actually saying, she would have handled it differently, should have just had a conversation with them and walked away. But I'm like, I can't. They're making it appear that it's their company, their program,
Mhm.
right? So we need to be in a position, and that's what I stress it, as people are working through the program, is really, because I know they need for them to run the program, they need my material. They
Mhm.
need me.
Mhm.
So it's okay for me to have to walk away,
Makes
kind of
sense.
thing. And I think most of us need to truly understand that. And in terms of even example, let's bring up Black Lives Matter. I'm a strong believer. You know what? We say they don't bring us to the table.
Mhm.
If you don't invite me to your table, I have my own table built in. Do you know what I mean? And
Mhm.
so and
I
so
hear you, and
and so
I'm listening to what you were saying there, Karen. And, um, I think what I'm hearing is sort of, you said that, this company started out when you hit rock bottom. You're at a place where the market crashed, right? You
yeah,
were unsure of what you were going to do next. And it sounds like, you had that strength of being resourceful and, the ability to get back up, right? So
yes,
instead
yeah,
of sort of sitting down and wallowing in your sorrows, if you want to call it that, you were like, okay, I can't sit here, I have to do something. And it sounded like you had a passion for reaching out to others. And you said that you were a salesperson. So you use sort of those skills to try to connect with others, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Like there's people to people. And
Yes.
this opportunity fell in your lap in the sense of wanting to share financial information with others,
Yeah. Yeah.
literacy. And when you met sort of, this individual, she indicated, I don't need a financial, person to share in financial information with the children. I already have that, and a lot of people would have, again, walked away. But it seems like there was still something inside of you that was like, I could either connect her with somebody that I know that could
But
do that work,
yes.
but again, it seemed like there was, this other side of you was like, maybe I can do it, maybe there's something that I could do. And
And
instead of connecting them to this other person, you decided to, to jump and to leave.
Exactly. But you know what I'm going to say? Because I had it in my mind. Her name is Marcia. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I was like ready to give the name Marcia, but what came out was my name. And
Mm-hmm.
I strongly believe it was the Lord that said, it's time.
Yeah.
And he just, you know what I mean? And the steps occurred because in my head, in my mind, Marcia was the person.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, what came out. And so I've been blessed to be resilient,
Mm-hmm.
but I think we've all been built like that. And I strongly believe life happens. Do you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Life happens, and the mud and the mess of life builds on people, and True Potential is there to help. We provide you with the tools because
Mm-hmm.
I don't dig the dirt off your chest. I don't. I'm there to hear and listen,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're here to give you the tools. So here's the shovel for you, here's the shovel for you, and we're there to be walking with you as we're all shoveling the mess,
You're
off of our,
teaching people to fish for themselves. You're
it will.
trying to help them to unearth the potential they have within themselves
Thank you.
and
Yes, I
to
like that.
become,
Yeah.
confident with themselves, to understand why they're here. It's like you're trying to help them figure out what their purpose is.
Yes.
What's the meaning of life for them? Why are they
Yes.
here? And once, as you said, once they know that, they can't be taken advantage of, like that company was trying to take advantage of you, or to steal
Exactly.
your
Well,
content.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And once we truly know, then we are victorious. We're not victims.
Mhm.
Because anything, again, another philosophy of True Potential is whatever that yucky thing was,
Mhm.
that is the opportunity for you to rise and shine above it. Because the trade show could have been that thing that buried me and woe is me.
Yeah.
But instead, it was a catalyst that built, because I see True Potential as, when I started building it, I'm like, it's bigger than me.
Mhm.
And it's bigger than me. So
Mhm.
even whatever mess that we're going through, the greatness that has will occur because of that is
Mhm.
bigger than that mess.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's really what it is, being able to
Mhm.
turn that mess into a beautiful message. And so when I share about the 126,000 that I lost, I remember
Mhm.
somebody asking me, why do you share? It's like, because if I say I lost a lot of money, $10, $50, you know what I mean? $100 could be a lot of money for somebody,
True.
right?
Yeah.
So I share the magnitude of what it was because it was great for me.
Mhm.
Your situation could be different. It may not be money. Maybe if you say you went through a really horrible divorce, say you lost a child, say you lost do you know what I mean? There could be
Mhm.
anything. So it's supposed to, the whole idea is for us not to minimize whatever experience we've had,
Yeah.
but being able to see it and kind of say, okay, how can I turn this yuck into something beautiful? So
Mhm.
with me, I don't regret having done the trade show. I strongly feel that I would have regretted if I didn't do the trade show.
Mhm. Mhm.
And the greatness that I have in terms of True Potential, it's, oh my word. I'm excited for the possibilities and
Mhm.
even getting started because of COVID. It was supposed to happen in April and then COVID
Mhm.
happened, so it's now starting tomorrow. And
Yeah.
the excitement of it all. And then we have
Mhm.
people that are just eager. They've been hearing about it and they're eager to get it started because
Mhm.
if anyone that's really in a place that is not nice,
Mhm.
they need they need assistance to get out. And like, even for me, it's not even money. Yes, it's nice to give money, but the best thing one can do is provide them with the tools so they
Mhm.
can use the money wisely to get to where they want to be and be able to ask for what they need,
Mhm.
right? Instead of somebody telling you, okay, you need this. No, I know what it is, what I need. I know where it is I'm going. Please help me get there. I need this from you, do whatever it is.
Definitely. And I see that, and I'm seeing the parallel here in sort of the idea of you recognizing, what your true potential was, right?
Yes, yeah,
Recognizing the tools and the skills that you had to get yourself out of sort of that stuck place, and
yes,
seizing opportunities. And it sounds like you created this organization, to be able to give that to others. It's so
yes.
inspiring for sure.
No, thank you. Thank you. It's,
Definitely.
it's exciting as you see the transformation. Like, I mean, I could give you examples. There's this one guy that, when he came to the workshop a few years ago,
Mm,
he had said he was on Ontario Works,
yeah.
and he said, "I'm here because they told me I have to be here.
Mm,
I don't want to be a part of it." And I mean, he was a negative Nelly, and you kind of get and understand. And
mm,
so I think he came to the second session then onwards.
yeah.
And then, and there's a part of it where they do a presentation,
Mm,
and he's supposed to do his vision board, and he had been putting it off. Why? Because he wanted to do his vision board at the graduation, because we
mm,
do a graduation as well. And he said to me, you know what? Because he used to drink, he used to be an alcoholic, and he used to do a bit of drugs. And so he's like, Karen, this workshop, did something to me, that his kids now, they love him and they respect him, and same with his wife.
mm,
There's another young lady that took the workshop. She had been incarcerated in, two jails, one in Canada and one in another country.
mm,
And it's it's amazing because now she's working with, the municipal, I wouldn't say the municipal government. Well, no, I know with a regional government, or I wouldn't say, okay, actually with one of the regions
mm,
in Ontario,
mm,
working in a really good position.
yeah.
And again, it's from, she went to federal prison.
Mm,
You know what I mean? And so the transformation that occurs, and just honestly, there's something beautiful when a person can really see their true beauty. When I say that, I'm not talking about the looks. I'm
mm,
talking about the incredible person that is inside,
mm,
when they can truly see it and believe it and then walk in it.
yeah.
There's something phenomenal. Like every time when I do a graduation and I
Mm,
see the end result of it,
yeah.
I'm in awe. And
Mm,
I honestly say, and I believe that if I didn't need money,
mm,
I would just do this for free,
yeah.
because the greatest payment is actually seeing somebody transform.
Mm,
And when you see the amazing person that they are,
mm,
and really what do they bring to the world's table, and not only do you see it, but they see it,
yeah.
and they're able to walk in it.
Mm,
That is phenomenal. I love it. Like I said, if I didn't need to get paid, and there
mm.
was just, what I mean, I just,
I
if
hear
there was
you. I
money
hear
there,
you.
in
Yes.
terms of like, my family had money, then I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and do it.
No, I,
Because
I, I, I see your heart, in the sense that you have a heart with helping others. And it sounds like you're saying that, um, with life, we all need finances and money to survive, right? But it sounds like your why for doing this job,
it's,
is helping others to transform and to get to a better place in their walk, so they can,
yes,
you know, again, find their true potential and be able to
yes,
do, things that, I guess, citizenship, be able to, be a good citizen and add to the world.
exactly, exactly. Yes, you summarized that
Awesome.
well.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you, Karen, if you could tell us some tips, for individuals out there, that maybe individuals that might need the True Potential program. Let's say they're not in Toronto and they can't access it. Let's say, it's just they're just watching our video and they might want a few tips. I'm not saying to give away your program here, but just maybe a few tips that
um,
you can give that could help them at least to start thinking about the idea of
okay,
what they're
okay,
how they should access their
okay.
potential.
I'm gonna say a couple tips would be, don't let your circumstance dictate your today and your future. right? So if it's a negative situation that you're in, try to look past it and try honestly too, try to see something positive in the negative situation. A lot of people, a lot of us find it difficult to see something positive in something negative,
Yeah.
but there's always something positive. And if you can find what that positive is
Yeah.
and work towards that. And like when I lost all that money, I remember saying, basically I was like, okay, Lord, why did you allow me to do it? And you know, that it was not going to work.
Yeah.
And what was really placed on my heart though was that, you know, that I needed to see exactly my potential. So even with the trade show, so I rented 30,000 square feet at the International Center. It's a large convention center in Toronto. And so I rented a hall, 30,000 square feet, and I had to fill it. I ended up filling, I think it was 60 of the 100 booths, which is not bad, but it's not 100. And so anyhow, at that time, to me, that was a big deal. We had an auction at the trade show. However, with that loss and with the vision that I had for the trade show, I knew it was a large vision,
Yeah.
but true potential is larger. So I felt that, yes, I had that loss, but it also showed me what I'm capable of doing. And so anything negative, being able to see, look at the whole thing, look at different angles. Like, okay, I have my speaker right here. Being able to look at every angle and okay, what positive can I get out of this, and looking at every angle instead of looking at the obvious. It's so easy to look at the obvious. I lost 126,000. It's easy to look at the obvious. Look deeper.
Yeah.
Look deeper, look beyond the surface and go from there. And so as with that, that's how true potential was created, because being able to look beyond that mess and drill a little deeper. And so, and when anything terrible happens, try to find the positive and don't look beyond the surface.
Yeah.
Look beyond the surface. What did I need to learn?
Yes.
What did I need to learn from this situation? And don't ever turn around and say, woe is me. Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks when anyone has to go through a terrible time. But see what positive you can get from it and work towards that. And don't, okay, somebody told me this years ago, and I appreciate that. In terms of opinion, everybody has an opinion. And what she had said to me was, eat the meat and spit out the bones.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I love
Unpack
it.
that a little bit for me
Yeah.
and the audience.
Do you know what I mean? Eat the meat and spit out the bones. So I've never, I could take advice. However, to me, you kind of weigh it. Is it good for me today? It may not be good for me right now. Maybe good for me, months down, a year down the road, or it could have been good for me yesterday, but it's not good for me right now. So don't, when anybody gives advice, don't just take it and run with it, because if it doesn't work, who are you going to blame?
Yeah.
You can't really blame that other person. You chose to take it, so you have to take the onus is on you. So eat the meat and spit out the bones. And don't let anyone, like, okay, a favorite line that I have from me is that if somebody tells me something, and they say it's impossible, in my head, if in my head it seems it does seem possible, I will make it happen.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
if somebody says no, that can't, and if I strongly believe it can, I will find a way to make it happen. I find too many people are quick to give up. No, because I always say it doesn't make sense to me. If something doesn't make sense, if my head is not accepting that, then I'm not going to accept it, and I'm going to find a solution. And I mean, I remember actually, even with this workshop, the organization that I'm working with, the gentleman's like, Karen, you're persistent. I'm like, yeah,
Yes.
don't give up. Do you know what I mean? Don't give up when you believe in something.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid of hard work.
Yeah.
We all work hard. We choose the reason why you're working hard. Like in terms of building true potential, oh yeah. I had to put in blood, sweat, and tears. But I believe in it.
Yeah.
And so you don't give up because it's hard. I remember somebody saying to me a number of years ago on Facebook, it was my birthday, and wishing me happy birthday, and he said something about, basically it was, Karen, you don't give up. There was a negative connotation to it,
Mm-hmm.
and it was basically because I've been going at it with true potential. Now fast forward, he was like, Karen, it's good you didn't give up.
Mm-hmm.
So don't, when you believe in something, don't be so quick to throw in the towel.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't matter how difficult it is. If you believe in it, continue to go forward, and don't don't listen to the naysayers,
Mm-hmm.
and don't even listen to your negative chatter.
Yeah.
If you strongly believe in it. So like when I hear somebody say, like example, somebody will reach out about multi-level marketing, and I'm not a fan of those, and I'm saying it, and I apologize to any of your audience that may be in it,
It's all
but
right.
I find that with, say, a multi-level marketing, they're always selling the dream, the money that you're going to make. No, choose something that you're passionate about,
Yeah.
because if you're going strictly for money, it doesn't turn around right away. You're going to
Mm-hmm.
throw in the towel and give up.
Yeah.
Because I know some serial ML, multi-level marketing people, because they were going after that money. No, if you were to find something that you're passionate about,
Mm-hmm.
then go after it. And so it may not materialize a year, 2 years, but it will. Because honestly, success will come.
Mm-hmm.
Success is there for all of us, but you have to be prepared to work
Yeah.
at it, and to not give up and not give in.
Mm-hmm.
So don't go after money, go after something that's important to you, because then that way, once you know your why you're doing it,
Mm-hmm.
then, as time goes by and you're getting a little closer. And then,
Yeah.
so, it will come. Success, I think, I strongly believe, yes, success it's available to everybody, but you
Mm-hmm.
need to understand the reason why you're going after it, and then not to give up.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for sharing, Karen. Like, it's so inspirational. If I can remember the tips, I think I heard four so far. The first one, that I think I heard is sort of this idea of, not to allow yourself to stay stuck,
Yeah,
in that
yeah,
place. Um, Recognize, what you can do, and then
exactly.
get up, sort of
Well,
thing.
exactly. And I mean, again, another thing I believe in is, own whatever you're going through, own it,
Mm.
kind of thing. And I'll give an example about that. I remember I had gone through a divorce, and I remember the first, I think it was 3 months or whatever, I was crying and crying and crying. And my mom's like, okay, you need to stop. I'm like, no, I want to cry till there's no more tears left for this person. Do you know what I mean? So there's
Right.
no more tears, then there's no anger, there's no frustration, there's no, you know what I mean?
Mhm,
All that jazz. And
mhm,
so own how you're feeling. Don't sit in that though, because you
I
can't
hear you.
pretend. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't pretend
Mhm,
that you're not hurting. You can't
mhm,
pretend. Do
mhm.
you know what I mean? So own it, accept it, go through that whole process,
Yes.
and then get up and go on. Do you know what I
Mhm.
mean? And so
Yes.
even with
Yeah.
having gone through the divorce, I'm not bitter, I'm not angry. I remember going through that, and there's some people that go through divorce and they're like,
Yes.
oh, I'm never gonna get married again. Yeah, no, I'm gonna get married again. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it's all
Yes.
because I felt I went through that process, that cleansing of being able to cry and mourn the loss,
Mhm.
and being able to say, okay, I'm good now. I can get up and go.
Mhm.
So own whatever you're feeling, but don't stay there long. And to know that we're victorious.
Yes. Yes.
We're
Yes.
victorious. And so, I'd rather be victorious than a victim. A
Mhm.
victim,
Yes.
being a victim is not cute. It's not sexy. It's
Mhm.
no.
Mhm.
Being victorious, and being victorious is really being in a place to own whatever the situation has occurred,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
then seeing something positive from it,
Yes.
and going towards it,
Yes.
and
And that
then
was your second point, the
yes,
idea of looking for something positive,
yeah,
in a negative experience.
and
So
and there
looking
always will be,
holistic. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, there will always be something positive, and
Mhm.
you have to be looking for it. You have to be
Mhm.
looking for it. Like there's some people that say there's no miracles. I believe in miracles, and when I say that, because if you're expecting it, you'll see it.
Mhm. Yeah.
You will
Yeah.
see it, because there's some people say there's, yeah, no. If you're expecting it, then you will see it in anything and everywhere you go, and things that you do and experiences that occur. You're like, oh, cool.
Mhm.
You know?
So it's like a mindset, that
Yes.
idea of not staying within sort of that negative mindset,
Yeah.
wanting to practice, thinking about the positives, thinking about what is something that, you can learn maybe from the situation, and what is something that you
Yes.
can take away with you that's going to help you
Yes.
in your next venture.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think the third thing I heard there was sort of not listening to the naysayers. So
Yeah.
people that are out there that might have something negative to say about, you or what you're doing, and also not listening to your own negative
Ye-
chatter.
e-
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Exactly, because there'll be always those that say you can't or you shouldn't, or
Mhm.
even judge. And we're we're humans and we're sensitive. We're sensitive beings. But being able to just not to take it on, to hear it,
Mhm.
and but to basically not take it on.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because I mean, otherwise, if we listen to everything everybody said, we'd never do anything.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
never do anything. So hear it, because you're going to hear it. You can't pretend it's not there,
Mhm.
but don't let it stick inside here,
Yeah.
right? Because what I mean, you'll hear it in here. Don't let it stick in here, and it'll go out the other end, kind of thing.
I
But
like that. It will go
just
out
don't.
the other end.
Yeah, just don't let it sit in the heart, kind
Mhm.
of thing. Because it's we try to tend to do that, and we don't want to, because that'll stop us from moving forward. Yeah.
Definitely. And I think the last thing that I heard you say, which I think is so important, is that idea of taking, constructive criticism, because
Yeah.
individuals do sometimes tell us things that maybe we don't want to hear right away,
Mhm, mhm. Yeah.
So that idea of taking what someone says, and be like, okay, maybe it doesn't apply to me right now, but it may help me later. So it's
Yeah.
sort of like, being able to accept feedback. And I think that that was something
Yes.
really, really great that you said there.
Thank you. Yeah. No, we need to be able to hear it. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, hear it, weigh it, and don't be offended. And then also, um, when somebody even gives, say, constructive criticism, and it feels like a true criticism, also try to understand where the person is coming from,
Mhm.
because sometimes they're coming from even a place of hurt themselves.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And so try to not take it on, and try not to take it personal
Mhm.
as much. And of course, we sometimes do that,
Yeah.
but try to remember, if somebody says something to you, kind of like, okay, what angle are they coming from?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes, like when I started first building True Potential, oh, family and friends, I'm going to say family, and I know it was coming from a place of concern and love. I
Mhm.
didn't like it, and it felt really hurtful, but I understood it was coming from a place of
Mhm.
concern and love. So
Mhm.
being able to understand that and get that, but still move forward,
Yeah. Yeah.
and still come, and yeah, we all need to be able to be able to receive constructive criticism, but we also need to know how to give it. And I always say to anybody, you can go ahead and correct me, but correct me with love. So if you have to
Mhm.
correct me, don't diminish me, because I'm not even going to hear you. I'm
Mhm.
not even going to hear you if you're going to say anything that's going to be rude or disrespectful, because all of a sudden my ears are going to close, and my back's going to go up, my ears are going to close, and my heart is definitely going to close. So it was counterproductive. So
Mhm.
if you're going to correct me, say it in a manner of love, so then I can
Mhm.
hear it. I may not agree, or may not choose to receive it, but it's not going to be closed, because you haven't said it harshly. I'll be, it'll be rolling around in my mind,
Mhm.
and I may not like it, but I'll be able to process it and maybe use it or release it. But if you say it to me mean or rude or disrespectful, I'm not going to hear you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. So that idea of even the person giving, the feedback or the constructive criticism, it's important to give that criticism in love. So the person receiving it, will be able to say, okay, fine, I don't like hearing this, but,
Yeah.
if they planted a seed in a sense,
Yeah.
a seed
Exactly.
been planted, and then, later down in life, they'll be like, you know what, that person said that to me. And
Hmm.
if somebody else says it to them, it's almost like confirmation as well.
Exactly. Yes.
So, it helps with that growth, in thinking about, okay, maybe this is something I need to address
Yeah.
to,
Exactly.
to gain my true potential. So
Yeah.
I just want to thank you so much, Karen,
Oh,
for,
thank
sharing
you.
with us. You talked a lot about this idea of finding purpose and meaning. And it sounds like your organization has been built from this true place of passion,
Yes.
for wanting to help others to transform and get to a better place. And it sounds like you're saying you have this drive to reach individuals that are less fortunate, and wanting funding and stuff like that. So hopefully that my audience will be able to reach individuals that not only be able to help you with funding, but also will maybe create opportunities for you to be
Yes.
able to connect with
Oh,
other organizations or individuals that may need your service. So
oh,
the
thank
last
you.
thing I'll ask you is, how can these individuals that may hear this, how can they connect with you?
Okay, well, thank you. It's truepotential.ca. So TRUPOTENTIAL.ca. So it's true without the E on the end. And I could be reached at any time on my cell at 647-282-0050.
Okay.
Again, 647-282-0050.
Perfect.
Oh,
All
thank
right. It
you.
was lovely talking with you today. Um,
Likewise. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, there you have it. Our interview with Karen Bell. It was great talking with her, and we will talk with you guys next time.